วัสดีค่ะ สติยาลังกาพิน
สวัสดีครับ I'm Thiradet Jerasukskun. Good morning and welcome all to the opening ceremony of the International Association for Educational Assessment 36th Annual Conference, or IAEA 2010.
That was the musical performance from Bandit Patanasin Institute, the Ministry of Culture. Very soothing, isn't it?
It was a lovely start for Monday morning, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, and probably a very good start for our conference as well. May we now proceed to the opening ceremony of the IAEA 2010. Some of you met last night at the welcome reception. Some met years before and continue to meet each year at the IAEA annual conference every year. Some of you have just registered this morning. Some are the guests of honors. But I'm sure all of us realize the importance of this event where assessment experts, policy makers, and practitioners from around the world come together to share their works, their challenges, their ideas, to see old colleagues, and also to meet some new ones.
And we are all here today for tomorrow, as the IAEA conference this year draws on the theme Assessment for the Future Generations. How can assessment monitor progress of the future citizens? Is it true here and elsewhere that assessment practice drives the educational system and, in consequence, influences tomorrow's society?
Later on this morning, we'll get to hear from the keynote presenter, Professor William Boyle, from University of Manchester in the UK, who will share his thought about assessment for the future generations, the struggle to ensure a balance between accountability and comparability based on testocracy, and the development of humanistic individual through assessment.
Now it's time for the opening ceremony. May we have the honor of the President of IAEA Executive Committee, Dr. Dibu Ojerinde, on the stage to welcome the conference participants.
The chairman of this occasion, the local organizers of the IAEA, members of the executive of IAEA, all members of IAEA. This is a welcome speech to all of you. On behalf of the executive committee, I welcome all of you to the 36th conference of the International Association for Educational Assessment, holding in this beautiful city of Bangkok, Thailand. In the countdown to this conference, some of my colleagues expressed apprehension and genuine concern on the political situation in Thailand, especially with the quote color red unquote pictures, which we saw on the streets on a daily basis as reported and shown by some international media. My colleagues wondered if it had not become imperative to change the venue of the conference to another country. However, I assured them, not because I knew how and when the crisis would be over, that the situation in Thailand may seem grave, but certainly it was not too different from similar or related happenings all over the world. I made it clear that while security and safety of members are paramount to us, political situations should be divorced from education and should not be allowed to interfere with our desire for knowledge and invariably education, which remains the most vital ingredient for human capacity and development. If we begin to choose or change venues of our conferences, our other international gatherings on the basis of political gatherings, political situations, we can as well begin to consider potential natural consequences and disasters such as earthquakes, flood, tsunami, wildfire and etc., or extreme cases, avoid countries that are prone to terrorist attacks or religious or communal intolerance backlashes, or even consider trivial issues of quarrels between husband and wife, which at times lead to domestic violence and graduated to attack on law enforcement agents, as also reported and shown by the same international media, like films from the Hollywood. After all, there's no two meaning of violence, whether it is external, internal, or domestic. I'm happy and I thank God that we remained resolute to come to this beautiful city of Bangkok. I'm sure the good and hospitable people of the city are also happy to see and receive us all in their midst. 1 year ago, which seems like a few weeks back, we were in Brisbane, Australia, where we had a memorable and rewarding conference. Between then and now, participants must have put to test the then new experiments that we germinated from our cross-fertilization of ideas, and surely we will be ever ready to ventilate the outcomes of our experiences at this conference, which will serve as feedbacks in this learning circle. As usual, we are likely to take new things home from Bangkok, which will further help advance our course in assessment and evaluation. In 1978, as a doctoral student at the Cornell University, Ithaca, New York, United States of America, I had the opportunity of being sponsored to attend my first conference of the International Association for Educational Assessment held in Princeton, New Jersey, United States. Since then, I've attended virtually all the conferences of the association. 32 years after my first appearance on this stage, today, I'm lucky to head the association as its president and preside as its conference. I thank members of the association for finding me suitable for and capable of carrying out this responsibility. In fact, it is an honor not only for me, but my fellow Africans who are here in our multitude. From my home country, Nigeria alone, we are about 30 who have traveled the skies to get here after many long hours of flight and attendant enormous resources. May I request my fellow African and Nigerians who are here in this hall to stand up for recognition in appreciation of this honor of having me as the president of IAEA. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please sit down. You definitely outnumber others from this place. I've gladly accepted the responsibilities that you have placed on my shoulders, and this much I've told my colleagues on the executive committee when we met in Paris, France, during our first meeting in February this year under my leadership. I thank you for the confidence reposed in me and other members of the executive committee, with whom I have had a very warm and robust relationship. With your support, we'll be able to move forward the course of the association. The successful path trodden by our past and immediate predecessors will be improved upon. Please permit me to pay glowing tribute to my immediate predecessor in office, Dr. Yoav Cohen of Israel, under whom I served as vice president, and with whom I had a very good professional working relationship. I think he's very much around. Can you please stand up for recognition? Dr. Yoav Cohen from Israel. Oh, let's see you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And also, I want to introduce another past president to you from Nigeria, Africa generally, Professor Olu Aina. Here he is. Thank you. Unfortunately, Dr. Cedar Carlton from ETS is unable to come for one reason or the other. As we go on, you know why. Well, we want to thank you, our predecessors, for wonderful jobs that you have done. The same tributes go to all past presidents and members of the Executive Committee of the Association, for whom we doff our hats. Between my first attendance and this conference, the dynamics in the assessment world have changed fundamentally across the globe. The theories, models, policies, principles, and practice of evaluation have undergone a lot of vicissitudes and pattern beating with their corollary outcomes, which are both positive and negative. Assessment has traveled beyond its traditional purview of the four walls of school environment. It has since become a norm in practically all spheres of human endeavors. And even my pastor in my church has always reminded me that my final score sheet emanating from my assessment through my sojourn in this world will determine my admittance into paradise, for which I daily crave. That is assessment for you. Information and technology now steer the ship of our assessment. But these have not debased the basics and fundamentals of evaluation. No doubt, advances in technology and the corresponding changes in societal structures have made the role of education increasingly complex. Enormous pressure is being exerted on educational systems and processes, especially in this era of changing global economy. Meeting the challenges of assessment in this 21st century is placing greater demands on exchange of information and sharing of problems on international basis. This era of globalization has brought about greater interdependence of nations and the benefits of sharing of resources in addressing common needs and problems. As President, I will continue to pursue vigorously the vision of advancing innovation and good global practices in the field of educational assessment, evaluation, and research. I hope to continue to also foster international cooperation and facilitate the development of closer ties among relevant agencies and individuals around the world, while noting and appreciating the peculiarities of our cultural and political outcomes. In the spirit of encouraging closer ties, the Executive Committee has decided to move its meetings around member countries, and so the next meeting of the Executive Committee will be held in Singapore. It is hoped that this will afford members the opportunity of a peer review of the quality and standard of assessment in member country educational system. Who knows? Maybe in years to come, we will be able to formulate a global policy on assessment and set minimum standard for evaluation. It is my dream that educational assessment will know no barriers in the immediate future. No race, no color, no territory, no discrimination of any sort. Just a global educational assessment that will be appreciable to all. Let me assure participants that the Executive Committee will continue to work hard to make our conference remain the major event in the world of educational assessment, as it continues to bring together leading educational assessment experts and providers of examination from around the globe with the sole aim of advancing the cause of the association. We can improve the quality of education in the world through international cooperation and thereby improving human capacity development in our various countries. Again, and more importantly, for the benefit of those who did not attend the welcome reception yesterday, I'm sorry that I will have to end this welcome speech on a sober note. As I said yesterday, about 3 weeks ago, precisely on 5th of August, 2010, I received an email from our former president, Dr. C.D. Carlton of ETS, United States of America, informing me of the sad demise of our emeritus executive secretary, Dr. Francis Otobre of United States of America. Fran died at 82 on Tuesday, 3rd of August, and was buried on Friday, 6th of August 2010. As a doctoral student in 1978, when I attended my first conference of the association, Fran was the executive secretary, and I can recall with nostalgia fond memories of Fran since then till her final breath. Fran has attended virtually all of our association conferences, and at each contributing immensely to the development of the assessment world. The history of IAEA will surely be incomplete without a significant part devoted to the contributions of Frances Otobre. We shall miss her and miss her candor, her expertise, experience, vigor, humor, and worth. On behalf of the Executive Committee and members of the IAEA, I commiserate with the family and other well-wishers on this sad loss of Frances Otobre, and pray that her soul rest in peace. Shall we rise for a minute silence in honor and memory of this adorable emeritus executive, late Frances Otobre, for a minute? May her gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Please sit. Thank you. In recognition of France's immense contributions to the establishment and development of IAEA, the Executive Committee decided to name the annual Student Scholarship Award in her memory. It is to be known as the Frances Mary Otobre Distinguished Student Scholarship, with effect from 2011. Applications will be opened shortly for prospective candidates for the 2011 Frances Mary Otobre Distinguished Student Scholarship Award. A number of individuals have offered to make contributions to honor Fran. The Executive Committee appreciates this kind and deserving gesture. Anyone who also intends to make similar contributions in honor of Fran's memory will be welcomed. Ladies and gentlemen, once more, you are welcome to Bangkok. I wish you the best of the conference comfort. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Ozarinde. On the issue of considering changing the venue, we are thankful that you still trust us to host this conference, and we will now get to hear from the representative of the 5 hosts of this conference. May I now invite the President of the Institute for the Promotion of Teaching Science and Technology, or IPST, Dr. Pornpan Waitiyangkul on the stage to give a welcoming address.
Dr. Dibu Ozarinde, President of International Association for Educational Assessment, Professor Thatchai Sumit, Chairman of the Institute for the Promotion of Teaching Science and Technology Governing Board, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm greatly honored and pleased to welcome you all once again to IAEA 2010, the 36th International Association for Educational Assessment, entitled Assessment for the Future Generations. On behalf of the Institute for the Promotion of Teaching Science and Technology, I would like to thank IAEA for honoring all of us, IPST, Chulalongkorn University, Srinakarinthar Virod University, the National Institute of Educational Testing Service, and the Office for National Education Standards and Quality Assessment to host this conference. Our collaborative efforts with the IAEA Organizing Committee provide opportunities for teachers, educators, researchers, and experts from countries all over the world to exchange ideas and learn from one another for the advancement of the 5 topics: classroom assessment, instrument and its effectiveness, needs and standards, policy and practice and theory and its application. Both national and international interactions among us will promote development of educational systems in all participating countries. This year, we have around 250 local teachers and educators and 220 participants from 40 countries joining the conference. We appreciate the number of the participants, which is more than expected, despite the unfortunate disruption from the political unrest in our country. I also admire the spirits of friends from these countries who show a strong commitment to joining this major event. The present conference is also special for us. We are gaining trust from the Thai community in our commitment to continuing improvement in the quality of mathematics and the science education of the country. This mission could only be achieved through collaborations with all stakeholders from government and private sectors, both at home and abroad. This conference will continue our efforts to promote and enhance cooperation in mathematics and science education development. Above all, on behalf of IPST and cohorts, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to those who made contributions to the conference. I wish this conference a great success and all of you have a memorable stay in Thailand. With pleasure, I would like to call upon Professor Thatchai Sumit, Chairman of IPST Governing Board, to address this gathering. Please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ท่านอาจารย์พรพันธ์นะครับ So may I now invite Chair of IPST Governing Board, Associate Professor Dr. Thatchai Sumit, on the stage to deliver the opening speech.
Dr. Dibu Ajarinde, President, the International Association for Educational Assessment. Dr. Pornpan Vaidyangun, President, the Institute for the Promotion of Teaching, Science and Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very pleased to welcome all of you to the 36th International Association for Educational Assessment Annual Conference. This is a gathering of prominent teachers, educators, researchers, and experts from 40 countries who are interested in applying better assessment techniques to improve the educational process. I would like to thank the host of this conference, namely the Institute for the Promotion of Teaching, Science and Technology, or IPST, Chulalongkorn University, Srinakarin Virod University, the National Institute of Educational Testing Services, and the Office of National Education Standards and Quality Assessment. They have organized the conference in such a way to include paper presentations and special lectures on subjects such as assessment policy, practice, and innovations, taken into account the value, meaning, breadth, depth, and sustainability. I hope most of you will enjoy the opportunities to share and learn from each other and choose to apply appropriate assessment techniques to improve the quality of education in your respective countries. I hope that the 5 days of intercommunication here in the heart of Bangkok will bring fruitful outcomes, resulting in a successful conference. For those of you who come from afar, I recommend that you take a look at our beautiful country and beautiful city, especially the majestic Royal Palace, some breathtaking temples, and gorgeous views of the River of Kings or Chapaya River. Finally, I wish you all the successes and happiness and a safe trip back home. Thank you very much.
กราบขอบคุณอาจารย์ค่ะ May I invite you to remain on the stage for the group photo. And I would also like to invite the Executive Committee of IAEA, the members of IPST governing boards, also representatives from the host and the co-host of IAEA 2010, IPST, the Faculty of Education, Chulalongkorn University, Faculty of Education, Sin Nakarin Virod University, the Office of National Education Standards and Quality Assessment, the National Institute of Educational Testing Service on the stage for group photograph.